Deep in the night palace, amongst the rows of corridors and rooms, there is one hallway that glimmers in the light and tingles in your claws. Darkstalker and his Nightwing followers never happened upon this hallway during their brief stay in the Night Queendom, and even back in ancient times it was rarely walked through. But if you peer inside one of the doors, you will catch a glimpse of another world. It will look much the same as ours, but strangely out of place, as why would a door in the Night Palace lead to a mountain range, or a beach pavilion, or even a hive on the other side of the world? If you were to walk through that door, you would find yourself trapped within this other world, as the door would shut behind you and promptly vanish. You would have to travel back to the Night Kingdom and to that Night Palace and find the door that led to your own world, an exercise in futility. No one knows how this hallway came into being. Some say it was Darkstalker's final attack, others say it was Queen Diamond's last revenge. Only a few guessed correctly. But it didn't matter. In every world, this hallway stood, and in every world, this hallway flickered, phasing between every reality at once. After the mess with the Sandwing War of Succession was over, and after Darkstalker was defeated, and after the other mind was gone, and a group of young dragonets stumbled upon this hallway on a Jade Mountain field trip to the Night Queendom, well, you are one of those dragonets. Choose a door now, and venture into the unknown. Hello! This is Puddlecat, and welcome to my What If series. This series is inspired by Cyprus and Doglover. Doglover Loves Doge, I believe. And I really like their series, their What If series. So I decided I would do one of my own. This is a Wings of Fire What If series, and you're really going to like it. This is Season 1. Season 1, Episode 1 is, what if the Dragonets of Destiny were all hybrids? All right. What if the Dragonets of Destiny were all hybrids? When Clay's egg hatched, no one noticed anything off about him. He was a mudwing with red scales, sure, but his egg was red too, and maybe it was a prophecy thing? When Tsunami's egg hatched, they noticed right away that something was off. She had a mane of fur like a sandwing, though it was a light blue. Otherwise, though, she was normal. Glory's hatching largely went ignored. She had a few streaks of black that never changed color, but no one guessed it was anything but a rainwing thing. Starflight hatched with long spikes going down his back and sticking out from his tail. He was all black, though, and the Nightwings were so rarely seen that it wasn't considered that abnormal. Sunny was the wrong color and had no tail barb, but as we know, that wasn't held as evidence for anything hybrid-related until much later. When Clay met his siblings and found they all had the same red scales as him, he wondered. The revelation that he was half Skywing didn't shock him, but it came as a surprise. Tsunami strode into the Seawing Palace expecting a loving mother like the stories about the missing princess. But she was met with a disdain that could rival Kestrel's, and the claim that she must have been some other royal's child, because there was no way Queen Coral could have a Sandwing hybrid as a child. Tsunami could see through her mother's lies. She had cheated on her husband with a Sandwing at some point. Tsunami just knew it. But she couldn't push the matter, not when she'd killed her mother's husband in the arena. If Coral found out about that, who knows the lengths she'd go to get rid of her. Tsunami led her friends out of the Sea Kingdom before Blister ever arrived. She didn't save Auklet's egg, she never spoke with an enemy, and she didn't even meet up with Webbs or Riptide. They didn't go to the rainforest next, they headed to the Kingdom of Sand. The group was taken to Thorn and the Scorpion Den, and Sunny was reunited with her mother. Tsunami did not find her father, but she heard a lot about the Sandwings who sided with Blister, which he must have been one of. He must have been a group Blister brought to meet with Queen Coral. The Dragonets were kidnapped again, and taken to Burn's stronghold, where they were trapped in her Weirdlings Tower. Thorn and her Outclaws attacked the stronghold, and Peril, who was coming to free Scarlet, stopped the battle for the Dragonets and helped them escape. Sunny found out about her heritage as part Nightwing in a conversation with Thorn. They fled towards the Ice Kingdom in hopes of meeting Blaze next. Unfortunately, they were unable to get an audience with her. After meeting Deathbringer in the tundra, they followed him through a tunnel in the sand to the rainforest, where he attacked them before stopping and choosing to flee instead. Glory still met her half-brother, Jambu, and she learned that she was part Nightwing when she saw that none of the other Rainwings had permanent black markings. She figured out the conspiracy with the Nightwings soon after, and became the queen after a competition where it was revealed she was related to Queen Grandeur. Starflight got kidnapped by the Nightwings. He was mocked by the others for his long spikes, and he realized he was part Icewing, completing the dragonets of destiny, all being hybrids. Starflight met his mother, Farsight, who told him the story of the Icewing she'd briefly fallen for. Starflight was able to get back to the rainforest with Fatespeaker, and the rescue of the captured Rainwings went smoothly, aside from him being blinded and the revelation that the prophecy was fake. Sunny's plan ended with Thorn crowned Queen of the Sandwings, and the group decided to found Jade Mountain Academy. While still accepting dragons from all tribes, they decided to focus on accepting hybrids specifically, and the Winglets weren't organized to have dragons from every tribe in them strictly, just to not have too many dragons of the same tribe in them instead. Moon still attends Jade Mountain Academy, as do the others, and much of the same events play out. But without Queen Coral supporting the school, no Sea-Wings attended, so Turtle and Anemone did not attend. When Darkstalker returns, Turtle is not there to enchant Kibley's earring or give anyone magical artifacts. Kibley remains suspicious of Darkstalker, especially when Winter starts acting increasingly loyal to the Nightwing. There is nothing Kibley can do about the plague on the Icewings, and when Winter and Kibley travel to the Night Kingdom, it is to ask Darkstalker for help with the plague. Darkstalker agrees to stop the plague, but this results in Moon growing suspicious of him. Kibley ends up under a stronger spell not to suspect Darkstalker, leaving Moon as the only one with a clear mind. Darkstalker heals Kinkajou, but she, too, is under the spell. Darkstalker meets up with his mother, Foeslayer, and he brings back Clearsight as well. The combination of Foeslayer, Clearsight, and Moon is enough to convince Darkstalker to change his ways, and he agrees to Moon's vision of turning him into Peacemaker, and he removes all his spells and turns himself into Peacemaker, although he leaves Peacemaker with mind-reading and future-telling abilities, as he can't bear to lose all of his powers. Snowfall dies from the plague, leaving Mink to be the next queen of the Icewings. She welcomes the fleeing dragons from Pantala, and she sends a group of Icewing soldiers to Pantala to deal with Wasp and the other mind. The Icewings discover the abyss and freeze all the plants inside, shattering the frozen plant once they are done. And that is how the story would have played out if all the Dragonets of Destiny were hybrids. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time for my next what if, which will be, what if Sunny didn't find the Eye of Onyx?